I was impatient today, and I'm very disappointed in myself as a result. I only took one, and it was in this chop. It actually was this candle here. You see where I have my stop set right there. I got in right on when it got back down below VWAP. This was actually after news, and I don't normally play news, but it fit my system, so I did, and it looked pretty good. It actually went up about 30%, came down here, was at my stop, held to my stop, didn't move my stop down. Should have moved it to the top of this candle. I did not, and it came back up here and actually ended up closing it out on this candle here, further away from my entry than I wished I had gotten. But this trend line aside, I can delete that and show you exactly the same thing. Obvious downtrend on the day. This blue line here was a resistance, retested as support, continued up, retested as support, failed, and this should have been the level I played up here. I had an opportunity here for a bounce off of this resistance turn support from yesterday. It was actually yesterday's low. It was a big bounce level from yesterday. If I'd gotten a little earlier, it would have been here. Could have rode that back up. But look at where my stop would have been. My stop would have been like right here. So it was just a tough, now that I'm looking at this was kind of tough to trade. I'm still not happy with my decisions today. But my main level was this daily level. If it got all the way down here, I said about trading this whole range. It came up here, set pre-market high, started trending down, trended down from open, failed to come up above this. This pre-market resistance turned support that it failed, turned back into resistance, rejected that back down, all the way down to here. That was a $1.50 move over 30 minutes. That'd have been a nice trade. But the main one would have been down here. Every time this tested this daily level at the bottom of the zone here, with that confluence, came back up. But I was still looking at trends, so I was looking for it to come down the bottom of the zone instead of just playing the level as in my plan actually dictates. I'm going to make myself a little video this weekend outlining my entire strategy. Basically, what my entry criteria is, where my stops are set, where my profit targets are, and when to trail stop versus when to scalp. And I have not been consistent with that lately. I'm not happy with myself over it. I'm disappointed. I know better than that. Mental's all over the place. But look at this. Break that came down strong. It's kind of distorted in here because of the scaling with the, but came up on some good volume. Again, pushed up here. Good volume. Green. Just kept going. If I'd gotten here, I'd have been stopped out right here. Again, this was a pretty good level overall. But man, look at that. That rip went all the way back up to pre-market high right before market close. And that was a $2.50 move over 35 minutes. That's pretty aggressive. And look at that volume. So that ended up the month of November. with the switch over to the daily chart. A lot of volume on this here, on this green. Long lower, kind of little pin bar, little action here, but it's also sort of inside. But that's a bounce off the 8 SMA EMA. And based on my strategy, when it's trending up like this, if it bounces below, if it taps that 8 and closes above, that's a sign, especially with volume, with increasing volume, that's a sign for continuation in the upside. So I'm going to keep looking at this one for tomorrow. I've got this little reject zone here, 457.80. I'm going to look for price action there, and look for price action here at the 100% retracement from the last pivot low to pivot high. And ultimately, the main reject level is this one all the way up here at 462. So somewhere between 459 and 462 is going to be the only reject I'm really looking for. I'm still pretty bullish on this, even though I know full well I should not be showing any sort of bias or emotion toward this market. It's been, the last couple of days, been very tough for me, at least, to trade. I know I've seen some people make some pretty good money the last couple of days. I've seen some people follow their plans really well the last couple of days, and I've seen some really ham-fisted just hucking and praying. And I'm guilty of quite a bit of the latter. So in my attempt of trying to reduce my overall fear, I have introduced some more FOMO. Because that's what I did basically all day, looking at this. Let's just see where the month is. Where's the monthly end? Yo, that's a big candle. It's low volume though, but it is November, in the week of Thanksgiving, but that's like really low volume by comparison. I'm not sure how much more steam this thing has. That unbalanced volume's did not set a new high this month either. It's been kind of downtrending. But this low is not lower. So might have just been a little bit of a pullback. I'm just gonna take what the market gives me. I know eventually my price targets are going to be, once it clears this 462, it's pretty well clear up here until 470, 473. And once it's there, we're up to all-time high of 470, about 479.90, 478, 480. That's a pretty good rip to get us up there. Look at these volumes. Today's volume was still fairly low right up until like that last hour when we got that big green move up. But overall, I mean, look at this week. It's been just kind of flat. If I put the motherfucker levels back up, you can see. Rejected there. Came up. Now we got the zone. Now we got this high, low, test low, test low, test high, test low, fake out. It's really obvious on the hourly that was a fake out. Granted, it was a $1.50 move as a fake out, but it was still fake out. That was tough to trade also, because I was long biased this day instead of just playing my levels and seeing that hourly was up there and seeing that this red here on the hourly, did it present on the 15 like that too? Yeah, it did. I mean, that would have been pretty much a dead giveaway that this had reversed. I like seeing these big greens up one lower volume and then just straight engulfing red. Could have seen that, and then a failure, close below pre-market high on the 5-minute. Let's see how that would have worked out. There it is. This actually would have been the level here. The fact that it made this big, and this weirded me out. I thought this because this was on the 1 minute, this misprint should have been a pretty good indicator that this was the direction it was going. And really, by my strategy, once those EMAs were stacked up here, this failure here to close above that second close above pre-market high after failing that 21 should have been the key. 456.50 all the way down here to 455, $1.50 would have been a nice move. But eventually, yeah, did eventually hit my target event down here prior to close before coming back up. Might not even trade tomorrow. I might just take the day off and mentally recuperate from the anguish I put myself through over this today. I mean, I just picked the wrong strategy. Really, that's all it was. I was looking for this trend to continue down, but the market wanted to chop, and the fact that these candles kept kind of staying in this range for here should have been indicative of that, and playing this off of news is something I don't normally do anyway, because the risk to reward is not there. That was a pretty significant move, and my contracts only moved 30%, so that's not where it's at. That's just not it. I like saying 50 cents on a dollar, not 30 cents on a dollar. But we'll try again tomorrow, maybe.